Yeah. So morning everyone. So today, like from this week onwards, we are going to start HANA database administration, right? So we discussed about the application. Now this is the database. So this is the database administration. So what is this database? So what is the main advantage of the databases here? So if you talk about the SAP architecture, SAP architecture is the three-tier architecture. So which means we have the presentation layer and application layer and we have the DB layer, right? This is our SAP architecture. So presentation layer, which means we are here, our login pad, our browsers. So entire where we will do from here, we will do our business. So from here, we will launch the application, right? This is when in that application, SAP is the one of the application. I like that we have the many applications, but here we have the one SAP application. So then after that, but each business application is required the one database. Each business application is required the one database. So without database, the applications, it won't process your business data, your transactions, it won't process your transaction. Normally, you will log into the one application. Suppose take example, Mejan application, Flipkart, IRCTC. So they are the many applications, just for example. Okay, you will log into maybe Amazon application. So that application is hosted on that application is hosted on the one database, right? On top of the database, the application is hosted. So all the data, all the products, orders related data available in that database. Suppose if you want to do the one transaction, you will launch the application from your presentation layer. You will launch the application from your presentation layer. Then from here, you will do the transaction. Then the transaction will sit into the database level in the form of table. In the table level, the respective table level, the database will go and it will store. The database will go and it will store the data. It will store and go the data. Okay. So here, so here same as like that SAP application, we have in the database also number of databases are available. Number of databases are available. So not only so we are discussing about the HANA. So like that we have in the market we have number of databases. The first database is the SQL server. So it's a Microsoft database, right? Then Oracle. Then what next? IBM DB2 database. Then MaxDB, right? Sybase. So like that we have and nowadays in HANA database also like that number of database in the market. So, but what is the difference? Why nowadays all customers they are nowadays why all customers? So what is the difference? What is the difference of this HANA database? Why we are discussing only HANA database, not in the other databases? So why nowadays all are using the HANA database, not in the other databases? So what is the importance here? So why every customer they are migrating from other databases to HANA databases? So why? Why means the HANA database is there is a one special innovation, one special technology, one special like SAP. This product was released by our SAP only. Who released the application? So they come to database and they have released the database as well. So previously they are in the application business, applications only, application softwares only. But now they have released the DB as well. They have released the database as well. So they have released the MaxDB and Sybase. These all are the SAP related only. But the most popular, powerful database is the HANA database. So what is there here? What's not there in the other databases? What's there in the HANA database? That we will discuss now. Okay, so it's like that the data will store into database. So here the data in the form of tables, there are some tables. So like that tables are available in the database, like the number of tables, lakhs of tables are available. So the transaction will come from SAP application, it will go and it will sit into the respective table level, it will go and sit into the table level. So we already discussed about the few tables and the database, everything. So right, so during the SAP installation, during the SAP, the database is the very important here. So now we are discussing about the database, right? So what is mean by HANA database? Is there any abbreviation for the HANA database? So is there any abbreviation for the HANA database? So what does it mean? So what is it mean? So HANA database means the HANA. So why you mentioned a 2.0? Is there any 1.0 before that? Yes. So what is that mean? So what is 2.0? So HANA 2.0. So first of all, we'll discuss about the what is HANA. So HANA means high performance, high performance. So analytical. So high performance analytical appliance. High performance analytical appliance. Sorry, is this abbreviation? Yes, right. This is the abbreviation. So this is the high and ANA. So they have taken into the four words into the consideration. They have named it as called the HANA database. HANA database. High performance analytical appliance. So which means in the name itself, you see in the abbreviation itself, high performance, the performance is very high here. The performance is very high here. So for to storing the data or to retrieving the data from the database. So normally database not only storing the data, we can also retrieve the data from database level. Retrieve means we can also take the data from database level also for analysis purpose, right? So this HANA database, so the main, especially the functionality is in-memory concept. In-memory concept, that is a new concept. So SAP introduced into the HANA database. So it's like HANA database is in-memory technology, in-memory based technology, and column oriented. So column oriented. So normally other databases will store the data in database level only. Other databases also it will store the data, but the row store level, the table means we have the column stores and row stores, right? Columns and rows. But here in the HANA database, we have it will store only column oriented. Column oriented. When you are accessing the data in the column oriented databases, it has faster access, faster. So which means fastly it will go and store and will go and pick up the data from the database level. So that is the advantage we have. And also this database is developed by SAP. So SAP SAP is the partner. So SAP SE is the main functions, the main function as the software is database server to store, as I mentioned, to store and retrieve the data as requested by the application. It is the main functions of the main functions of the this database, storing the data and retrieval of the data as requested by the applications, right? So normally so when this was released, suppose if I talk about the some history in 2020, sorry, in 2010, that initial released into the market. That is the initial release happened into the in 2010. So the versions, if I talk about versions, I will talk it to separately. So, but this database is dedicated to run only under Linux operating systems only, not the other operating systems. So it's available in the English, and also it's a multimodal language, multimodal database, which means multiple modes are available. So which means the type multimodal means it's like a so multiple data models against one single integrated backend database, right? So we can also use the documents, graphs, relational. It's kind of some development perspective. They know what is meant by multimodal database. Just you can remember that word. Okay. So this is the main HANA database. So functionality, which means it's not only storing the data, retrieval also data by the as requested by the application. One more important concept which are not exist in the other database is called the in-memory. In-memory HANA is a in-memory column-oriented columnar database. The three words you need to take it out, right? So column-oriented, so columnar database. This is also called the columnar database. Why? Because it's the first revolution database which has high performance, and also it has only columns and columnar tables and column oriented. The data will store into the columnar way. That's why we will call it as the columnar database. Columnar database. Sir, why it is fast? We have other databases which are the row store databases, but HANA is the columnar store databases. And also one more is called the in-memory concept. What is this in-memory concept? So can you explain some detailed way? In-memory concept means, so let me take it here. So in-memory. So in-memory means RAM memory. The data is storing into the in-memory. Suppose if you take other databases for data, CPU, memory, disk, right? CPU, memory, disk. So this is the way. CPU, memory, so disk. So this is the other databases. Suppose if you need some data to fetch from a database. Suppose you want to fetch some database, you want to store the database. What you will do? You will search it. That will the data request first. It will go to the CPU. That request first give to the CPU. Then it will go to the memory. Then it will go to the disk. Then it will go to the disk storage. Disk wise, it will go to the disk. This is the way. So first it will go to the CPU, memory, from memory to disk. Why? Because in the disk we have the data available, right? SQL Server or Oracle DB2. In the disk level means your disk means your C drive or D drive or E drive or F drive. So the data drives level we have the data. The data will store into the your disk level. It will store the data. It will go to a request here. It will fetch the data from here. Then it will give the response back to the here. Then finally user will get the request. User will get the request, right? This is the way. Suppose I want some data. What I can do? So my application will search. Suppose like application will search like this. So this will keep on searching. Why? Because the first request to go to the CPU, then memory, then finally it will go to the this PC. We have the drive, C drive, D drive. It will go and search into the C drive and D drive. Just for example, I'm telling here. See how much data is storing into the my drive level. So just I filtered, I searched like something like course. So it is searching. It is there in the my downloads folder. Even though see how it is searching, how much, so how much time it is searching. In the real time, can the users will wait this much of time to get the data from the database level or drives level? Just for example, my data, one document is there in my disk level. Disk level means my C drive or D drive, one document is there. I want the document. I don't know full document. I don't know location. So then I searched it here. Then it should pick up immediately, right? Why it is taking a longer time? Why it is taking a longer time? Why? Because my data is there in the disk level. Disk level data is there. So it is searching. So it is slowly, it is searching. Suppose it is searching, right? Suppose if I talk about the HANA database, if I talk about the HANA database, so let's see what is the difference here compared to the other database functionality and our HANA database functionality. So CPU, right, and memory. In the memory itself, you have the disk. Your data is storing it here. In the memory itself, your data is storing itself here. So which means CPU, memory, and disk. So which means there is no separate data is not storing into the disk level. What data is storing into the memory level only. Memory level only. Memory means your RAM memory level only data is storing. So if you access the data from here, if you access the data from here, the request to go to the CPU, then memory. So anyhow, memo data is storing into the main memory only. Then immediately it will pull the data from the main memory, then it will give the response back to the user, which means here we are saving the data instead of going to the disk, checking here. So we are saving the data, we are saving this much of time here. We are saving this much of time here instead of going to the database level, still searching the folder or drive, whatever I set it here, still searching may take some time, right? So normally, just for example, I'm giving here. So just for example, I am still see here. Now I got the results here. Now I got the results here, right? Now I got the results into the, so results are displaying now, right? So this much of time taken for one user, this much of time means every day there is a lot of business will happen, transactions will happen. Then how can I they get the data, right? So it's similar way you can also see. So same, if the data stores into the in memory means in the RAM memory, in memory means in the RAM memory. So it's accessing the pulling the data for retrieval of the data. So is 1 lakh times faster than disk. Storing the data or retrieval of data 1 lakh times faster than disk, which means it's a very faster. So if you have the more RAM memory, your system is very speed, right? Why? Because so it's a frequent access data will store into the RAM memory, then immediately you will get the data from the so data, right? System results, search results, right? But here our data is storing into so RAM memory, which means immediately within fraction of milliseconds you will get the data from the database level. That's why so SAP named it like SAP released this database. So which means on fly you can make the business decision. On fly you can make the business decision. This is the one of the fastest database compared to the other databases. And also on fly you can make the business decision. Suppose you release there is some analytical functionality also available here. Suppose it's not only storing the database. So other databases, it will store only transactions. So it is called the OLTP or OLAP. Suppose if you want to OLAP functionality, you need to separately install the one more database. If you want to OLTP functionality, you need to separately install a separate. So OLTP means online transactional processing. AAP means online analytical processing. Analytical means analysis, some graphical format analysis. You need to analyze your data, right? That is called the analytical processing. So here separately it will store it. Both will not store into the one database. But here in HANA, at a time, you can store the analytical data and transactional data also you can store into in one single database, that is called the HANA database. You can store the your transaction itself, you can store the data into here, your transaction data and the analytical data. And also it's column oriented, so column oriented and columnar database. So for accessing the data from the HANA database is very fast compared to the disk storage databases. So how much fast means SAP told that So 1 lakh times faster than, faster than disk. 1 lakh times faster than disk. So that's the thing. On fly we can make the business decision. Suppose if we want to release one sale, suppose business will release the product to the business will release the product, right? Business will release the product. So they will do the analysis. So in which month, in which year, what is their sales in that last 10 years, last 15 years. So same depends upon that analysis. So the graphical analysis, they will release their product. Same here also, the analysis, doing the analysis here is very simply here. I will show you on upcoming topics. We have the one topic to get the data from the table level. That is very fast. Okay, let someone ask me the question. Okay, when data stored into the RAM, when we restart, data will be gone, right? Yes, you are true. You are right. That data will be gone. Then how again after the HANA started? So you are the right track, Srikanth. You got the question now. You are getting the concept. Excellent. Good work, man. Yes, data will be gone. But when the data base is up, again your data will come. How? So that is the magic. Not the magic. We have the one concept is there that will pull the data, that we will get it out, that we will come to know. So in our regular classes. So to clarify now, just simply to clarify now, what happens? So there is a compared to the here, it will store the data into, there is some data folders. Actually, in the HANA level, we have slash HANA data, slash HANA log folders are available. Slash HANA data, slash HANA log folders are available. So when the data stores, into database level, that's done. But after that, internally, one mechanism, it will store data into the data folder level. At OS level, there is a data folder. So when we install the HANA database, that time there are the two folders will be created: HANA data and a slash HANA log folder. It will store the data into the data and log folder. So as Srikanth mentioned, sir, when data is storing into the RAM memory, RAM is the volatile memory. Volatile memory means when you restart the database, when you restart the system, whatever the data stores into the RAM memory, that will be deleted, it will be cleared. Sir, again, how the data means one copy of data storing into the data folder. So when you are restarting the HANA, when you are starting the HANA, the data will be again reloaded to the disk, again reloaded to the main memory, reloaded to the main memory. This way, you have the again data will be in the RAM memory. But here, sir, data folder C drive or D drive means we can maintain the 500 GB, 600 GB, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte maintain. So then with is it case like same way we have to maintain the so RAMs as well. Yes, same way we have to maintain the RAM also. So that is only thing here. So not only 2 GB, 3 GB. HANA will discuss how many minimum requirements, how much is required. It is storing into the cache, everything data is pulling from the cache. Yes, right. Yeah. Main memory, we have the caches, right? So we have the many caches are there, caches. In HANA also we have the caches are there. It will store, it will, if the caches are there, it will pull the data from the cache. But after the restart, what happens? All the data will be flushed out from the RAM memory. Then how the data will come and how the business data will be deleted, right? Which no, we have the one copy of data. There is no downtime, no downtime, no downtime. Why? Because downtime means HANA is stopped, right? Reloaded means so it will while starting of the database, when you're starting the database, it won't start immediately. First, it will load the all the data to disk. Sorry, all the data from disk to so main memory. Then after that, it will accept the operations. So HANA compared to the other days where HANA restart take longer time. Stop will stop immediately, but taking the restart will take immediately. So yeah, there is no downtime, but it will take time to pull the data from the disk to memory. That is only one thing here. But apart from that, once the data is there in the RAM memory, so whatever you want, you can play with the HANA database immediately. Suppose take example, so we have known application, right? IRCTC known application. This is especially running on the HANA database. So previously, how was the IRCTC, right? Previously, how was the IRCTC. So it's take longer time to pull the data, ticket booking, everything. But nowadays, it's a very fast, very fast. Even you just search, click on the just search, immediately you are getting the results. So how previously when you search it, maybe so I had many experience in previously while booking the tickets from Bangalore to Hyderabad, Bangalore to Vijayawada. Even so we opened the multiple laptops and we have to open after some time 500 server error. Even we are not sure what is the status of here in the fraction of milliseconds you are getting the data from the database level. So if you click on this refresh, you are getting the weight is something you are clicking. Immediately you are getting the data, ticket booking also, it's fraction of minutes, it's completing. So why means our central government, they have implemented the IRCTC, they have implemented the SAP. They have implemented the SAP and especially for their database is HANA database. You can see for the database is HANA database. You can see per day, so 21 million. So it's longer back, they have updated, maybe it's more. So they are ticking IRCTC. So not only then the payments, so money getting charged, debited, so booking period, everything they have changed, everything they have changed. So that's why, so previously our theme is this one, right? Just to click open, find trains means it will take longer time, we will get the trains, booking the ticket, oh, it take a lot of time. And sometimes we are not sure whether the ticket will book or not. But now fraction of milliseconds we are getting the begin. And also you can see how the SAP HANA database helping to the Indian Railways, right? You can see now. So how the HANA will make life more simple for the both passengers as well as the Indian government. It's true, it's true. Why? Because nowadays very fast HANA database. So Indian government, not only Indian government, many governments, not only Indian. So, but I'm giving the example here how. So it's helping to the business to pull the data, to accept the data, to perform the transactions and everything. So that is the reason all customers they are moving to the HANA database. Why? Because it's a lot of advantages are there, lot of advantages are there, that's the reason. But here only required is, so here you only required is more rams you required, more ram memory you required. So here, but ram memory means one time investment for the business, so that is not a problem for them. But only thing is they need, business should be consistency and faster access, right? So that's the reason. So they have all are choosing the HANA database for their database and to get the data from the database level. Okay. So this is the small information about the small introduction about the HANA database. So it's like column oriented columnar database. It's the in-memory concept. HANA is the in-memory based column oriented columnar database. So other databases, it's here two advantages: in memory, column oriented. Other databases are the row store tables, row store, and disk store, disk level it will store the data. These are the two differences, main two differences in HANA database. And also administration purpose, our administration purpose, we can so easily do the administration, troubleshoot the logs and restore the logs, everything. Administration purpose. So very simple actually, that we will discuss actually. Yes. So suppose, yeah, for increasing the RAM, just so they have to insert the in the RAM slot, they have to increase the RAM, right? Same here. The data is more. So if data is getting more, then they have to definitely they have to increase the RAMs. RAMs, they have to increase the RAMs, right? So why? Because so nowadays, suppose initially they have planned 1 terabyte or 64 GB or 128 GB RAM for their business nowadays. So maybe initial business. After that, the business is growing. They are also not expected. The business is growing. That is for their good purpose only, right? The business is increasing, so they are getting the more money. Then they will spend some money for the hardware. So hardware increase, they will do the hardware increase, which means they will do the one weekend. They will take the downtime. Then they will increase the RAM memory. Simple. They will increase the RAM memory. In one weekend, they will ask basis team to stop the databases. We will stop the databases one weekend. Then their infra team or they will do the memory uplift. They will do that one uplift, means memory increase it. Then we can start the databases. Then we can perform the routine operations. So that's that. We can increase the RAM as well. Okay. So the difference between row store and column store. So in the table level, if I discuss about the row store and column store, right? The row store, if suppose if this is a table, this is the one table. Each table, they have rows. Each table they have the rows and columns. So rows, these are the columns, right? These are the columns, these are the rows. So normally this is the table actually. So all employee data, so serial number, everything will store it here, right? So redundancy, you will store the data here. So but HANA, we have only column store tables only. There is no rows here. There are. So let me give benefits, like some column oriented, some benefits. What benefits we have, right? So for storing the data tables, by suppose like in the columnar table. So suppose maybe I will put this way. So for storing the data in the database, so while columnar way, it's a very simple, like it will go and store the data, but row store wise, it will take some time to load the data into the row store. The benefits of the access to data. Suppose normally when you want to access the data from the database level, so there is a query, there is SQL query. Application will issue the SQL query, that is subset of the columns. They will initiate the one query. That is simply it will go and pull the data from the columns. If it is a row store, it's required the more some resources, more memory to go and pull the data from database level. When the data in the column store, there is a compression technique which is HANA issued 10x compression technique. These are the advantages. If I talk about in my next session, HANA advantages like 10x compression technique, which means the compression techniques HANA, when the data is storing into the HANA, maybe if the 1 GB data is storing into the HANA database, means it's not 1 GB. There is a 10x compression technique will be issued. There are 500 or 600 GB, which will be 500 600 MB will be there in the memory. That 1 GB data will be compressed and it will size will be reduced, right? Suppose if you have all the documents folder is there, when you do the zip, what will happen? The data will be reduced. That is the 10x compression technique will be used, right? So normally in the real-time world, so both column stores and the row store databases, either the row store databases or column store databases, SAP or normal other applications will issue the one SQL query to load the data, to perform the data. So that the column store tables, that query is the minimal query. Why? Because just they will write the data from the column, something like that. If the data in the row store tables, it may take some time to pull the data, to fetch the data from the database level. So that's the one of the efficiency, the faster access, instead of faster than accessing the data from the other database. Why I told initially faster than accessing the data from other databases means, so other database are the row store databases. So you cannot access, you cannot analyze the data within fraction of milliseconds. Why? Because data in the row store tables, but in the data in the columnar way, column store tables, it's a very fast means, as I told you, right, on fly we can make the business decisions as well. Immediately it will pick up the data, it will store the data. So that is the main advantage of the column store tables and row store tables, the column store tables and row store table. That is the main advantage. Suppose if I talk about the, maybe if I want to, if you want to store the, if you want to, if I talk about the data, suppose, let me take it here. Anyhow, we are discussing about this one right now, so let me take it out here. You won't get it out now because you will get confused actually. So you don't require this much of, but you asked for this question, right? So that's why I will tell you one here simply. So row store, suppose take example row store. The row store, we will divide this one. Okay, we will divide this one. Okay, this is the row store. We will divide the table here like that. So here row one. So this is the row one. Okay, we will take it. This is the row one. Maybe R1. I will take it as the row one. Here, suppose there is some data. So one is the US store related, maybe alpha, some alpha, beta, something like that. I will write it here. Alpha, maybe some amount. So 3,000 rupees, maybe some 3,000 or 4,000 rupees. So I will write it here. Suppose same to row two is a row two. So maybe if you guys are confusing, let me know. So I can stop it here. The row two. The row two, so this is the row one. In the row one, this is the data available. So in the row two, you have the same US. So there is a one more entry, 3 entries we will make it here. So data, how the data stores into database level means this way the data stores. Why? Because we will write the queries, right? Maybe this way we will write the query, right? So maybe there is one example in the blocks and SAP also taken the one example here. So maybe some example, one example here, right? Something like that, 2 rows, and also there is a row 3. We will take the 3 rows here. The advantage we will discuss now. So same data, how this will store into column level, so columnar level, how that this data stores in the same data, how that this data will store into column level. So row store level we know. So this is the one in one row. US country, there is a alpha 3,000 rupees. UK, so maybe some beta. So US something like that. So we mentioned some columns we mentioned. So same data, how this will be stored into, the way. So right. So here you take, so here these are the columns actually, right? So these are the columns. This is the column 1. This is the column 2, column 3, right? So here here data will store like, so all the countries will store into the one column. Maybe US, the next US, the next one is the UK. All the columns will store in this way. All the columns will store this way. So all the columns will store this way. Then, so all the items, right? Whatever the items, then alpha, maybe beta, again alpha, everything will store this way. Maybe I will put like here 3, right? So see here, row store reference and the column store reference here. Alpha, next one is the beta, the next one is the maybe alpha, you will take it. Next one is the price. Next one is the price. Maybe so 3000. So next one is the so 1200. Next one is the 450, right? So next one is the 450. The benefits I'm talking about here. If anyone getting confused, so just ignore this one. These are the columns C1, column 2, and column 3. Okay, so this is the difference how the data stores into. So how the data stores into the here. So how the data stores into the database level. How the data stores into the data wise level. Okay, so in this one you can see, suppose, so as we discussed, right, advantages. So HANA is optimized for the column store. In case of tables, can either easily some certain fraction of seconds, you can easily load the data, easily data, and also the faster access in this case. So faster access, fastly it will access the data from the database level. Fastly it will access the database level. Suppose our developers, they will write the queries. Actually they will write the queries. I want so some beta alpha related data. Suppose they will write the some query, the immediately so all US related data, immediately it will fetch the data immediately. The column wise, right, immediately will get the response from here. Suppose if you write the query here, so the queries which will initiate the HANA database or non HANA database. US means what is the logic here we have to write. US means here the two types of US are there. So which one you required? So 3000 or 12,000, 1200 or exact query you have to write it. Here you no need to write the exact queries, just to filter conditions. If you apply faster access, maybe you no need an in-deep knowledge the queries and writing. Why? Because we are not the developers, we are the administrators. So just to leave it for now for regarding this faster access. Once you install the HANA database, when you start the HANA DB administration, you will get the more knowledge. Why? Because in the database level, I will show how the data will store, how we can get the data fastly. That way you will get time, right? You will can understand. Now I can simply draw the diagram for explain, you won't get, but you can see the difference how the data stores here. All the countries related columns are in the same. All the items related are in the one column. All the amount related are in the one column. Here in one row, US, their item, their money. Yes, item, money. Yes, item, money. So here everything differently storing, not in the one order. Here all countries in the one order, all money in the one order, one column, one column, one column. So each column, when the accessing the data from the each column, there is a multiple threads will be assigned. That is called the parallel threading, multi-threading. So multiple threads will assign, it will pull the data from the database level, it will give the results. But here one thread will go, will search, but here is the data is there in this row or in this row or in this row. Like that we have the millions of rows are there, it will search it out. But here when you're searching the column store, in one column multiple threads will be initiated, so that fastly you will get the access. That is the major difference. If you need more details, when we are discussing about the HANA DB administration, HANA Studio administration, that time I will explain clearly. Okay, that time we have the data and the rows and the tables, you will get the more knowledge on that. Okay, so this is about the our HANA database. So what is mean by row store tables? Means these are row store wise, these are the column store wise, it will store the data. All right, so this is the HANA database. So let's talk about the what we required. Just introduction we discussed. So to okay, that's fine. I think we have already 10 minutes only left. Okay, initially the day one first class, that's fine. So tomorrow we'll discuss about the advantage of the HANA, and also what are the hardware requirements, software requirements, all these things we'll discuss tomorrow. Okay, what are the hardware, softwares we required, and also uh, uh, sizing, HANA sizing, how to do that one, sir. All these things we'll discuss tomorrow. Just for introduction only today I discussed it, so it's not just for to understand what is the difference between the other databases. The today's point of view, you need only 3 points. HANA is in-memory, column-oriented, columnar databases. It is the SAP product. The initial release, they released by the in 2010. They have released the initial the multi database they have released into the operating system we have to use it is the so Linux. The so you need some Linux commands to understand to execute the commands in the so in the operating system level you need to know some Linux commands. That is the preparation activity. So, but no need to know if you don't know, also not a problem. Why? Because we'll discuss more. We'll discuss those things. We will discuss those things in the so Linux administration also what we required. We will discuss some commands in the operating system level so that you can understand as well. Okay. So no need to worry. So we'll discuss everything in our classes. Okay, so that's it for today.